From one of the great venues in the USL Championship, Highmark Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is week 2 of the USL Championship as the Pittsburgh Riverhounds get set to play host to Orange County SC. It's presented by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. Sean St. Jacques, Jamie Watson on hand for this one. And Jamie, we begin by looking back on opening day for Pittsburgh, a 1-0 loss at New Mexico.
Tough task going to Albuquerque, playing at altitude and playing against a very, very good New Mexico United side. Eric Dick stood on his head. He was a really, really standout performer for the Riverhounds. Unfortunately on this one, Greg Hurst rounds him after a couple of decisive passes that go through. But I was really encouraged when I watched the Riverhounds performance that they could try to turn it around in their home opener today.
For the Riverhounds, their player to watch is brought to you by Modelo, and it's their Iron Man, Danny Griffin, who hasn't missed a league game in his 5 years as a pro.
Yeah, that's not a euphemism. That's not hyperbole. Literally has not missed a game, is the Iron Man. But a real key component to what this group wants to do. He's one of the core players that really needs to have an influence on the match, controlling the game when it needs to, trying to stretch the field whenever he needs to, whether it's his passing ability or the range that he has in the middle of the field.
We look at the other side of the coin with the visitors, Orange County, and they had a little bit of late magic in the Californian capital last time out. How about a goalkeeper equalizer at the dying embers for Colin Shuttler?
Colin Shuttler surprises everyone else when that fell fortuitously to him, and he did exactly what he needed to get a point against the Republic. What a performance from Shuttler, though, at the other end, making key saves when he needed to at the right moments, and then he delivers the good at the 96th minute. He'll need to have a good performance here today if he wants to stifle this home opener for the Riverhounds.
Just the third goalkeeper to score in USL Championship history. For Morten Carlson's group, Brian Olofsky will be key, not just tonight, but throughout the entire season.
He really will. Have a little bit of a different look to this Orange County side. They lost Milan Olofsky, but Brian is there, one of the key components that they've had. A lot of continuity in this group. He'll need to be a leader with some of the new players in and around this team.
The home opener for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds in their 25th anniversary season here at Highmark. It's one of the great atmospheres we have in the USL Championship, and it promises to be a memorable night with Orange County in town, hoping to build on a great season a year ago. It's Pittsburgh and Orange County tangling in the Steel City, and it's coming up next.
Looking amazing.
At AHN, we see you trying to be your absolute best. And when it feels like you lost your best along the way.
Okay.
We see you taking control.
Looks good. Prescription. It says here.
And needing the quickest care possible.
Let's go.
At AHN, we see you.
Ain't no better feeling than a cold one in my hand. That's why I'll be keeping Iron City in my plans. Oh, everywhere I roam, I'll be thinking about my home. Sitting pouring on the iron right before I go to rest. And when I'm laying in my bed, there's only one thing in my head. Just an ice cold can of Pittsburgh, PA's best.
You could go from point A to B, or you could go to point X. The BMW X Range. Your next X venture starts here. Hurry in to lease a 2024 BMW X3 xDrive 30i for $649 per month.
Tonight's match is presented by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. Sean and Jamie back here with you. Let's dive into the starting lineups for both of these two teams. We begin with Bob Lilly's Riverhounds with this 11.
And when you look at Eric Dick, he'll be a formidable force in goal. Going forward from there, Robbie Mertz is a player that likes to be in and around the ball. He will have an impact at every chance that he can. And Conardo Forbes, he is a player that was part of the best 11 second team last year. He's been first or second team all USL for 6 seasons as he's been at Pittsburgh. He is always in and around the final third, creating something for himself or for his teammates.
Well, last season, Morten Carlson was the interim coach for Orange County. They lift the interim tag, and for good reason. He had a tremendous campaign. Here's his 11 for Orange County's second straight road game.
You see Zaval, Partita, and Kasipli in the middle. They will be the ones that will try to win the midfield battle if they can. They will have success on the road. Ultimately, it's all roads leading up front to Jameson and to Zubak. Coming over from Nashville, let's see Ethan Zubak has the ability to hold the play up when it needs, but also get on the end of crosses. Look for him to be a danger man and somebody that will challenge for the Golden Boot in USL Championship this season.
A Colin Shuttler stoppage time equalizer allowed Orange County to leave Sacramento with a point last time out. Now they come to another of the great atmospheres in the USL Championship here in Pittsburgh, where the Riverhounds only lost twice in all competitions last season. The Riverhounds losing in Albuquerque, but hoping to kick off their home campaign with 3 points at Highmark tonight. This is the home debut in the 25th anniversary season for Pittsburgh, and Orange County will be hoping to spoil the party. Jamie Watson, we look at keys to the game brought to you by Icy Light, and of course the midfield and dictating the pace will be key for Bob Lilly's boys tonight.
Absolutely it will, and how can they do that? By getting on the ball and pushing the tempo. That leads into the other point of emphasis for them today. Can they have a fast start? And when you're in your home opener at Highmark Stadium, you alluded to it, one of the best venues, one of the most picturesque venues in all of USL Championship, to be able to play at home where they were absolutely dominant last season. It's going to be important for them to try to force the tempo and be the ones that control how the first 10-15 minutes go of this match.
The best from the USL Championship came here a season ago. Only Indy and then Detroit in the playoffs left with a victory. Even Columbus Crew came here in the US Open Cup. They lost. So this is one of the best there is in this level of American soccer. Of course, a couple of years ago, Orange County did leave with a result here. Milana Losky had a last-second equalizing goal to salvage a point. But both coaches know not only how important this game is, but from Morten Carlson's point of view, how tough the test will be tonight. Even with Pittsburgh moving on from notable players, it'll still be expected to be a really intense and heated contest tonight. Early set piece from Brian Olosky is whipped in. It's bundled around the penalty area, and it falls into the waiting arms of Eric Dick, who's between the posts tonight. Quick outlet to one of the hometowners here, Robbie Mertz from the Pittsburgh area. Bleeds black and yellow. It's good hold-up play in the final third. Zubak did well. Orange County couldn't quite build on it. Kizza trying to do the same at the other end, and Orange County just about deal with it. And then Kizza picks the pocket. Kizza in behind. It could be a chance for Deanne. Forbes has options, plays a good ball in, and it's caught by Colin Shuttler, the hero from a match day ago. Just the third goalkeeper to score in a USL Championship game, Colin Shuttler, the first to do it since 2022. I'm sure Sac Republic fans are still trying to pick their jaws up off the floor after Orange County left with a point last time out. This is lovely skill from Ryan Dogman. Lovely ball across, and it's the opening goal. Orange County with a sucker punch inside of 3 minutes. Brian Olosky opens the scoring, and Morten Carlson's boys silence Highmark, and they lead by a 1-0.
Dogman does ever so well. Watch the little soul roll to just create some space. And then this is a speculative cross, but it's intentful to go across the face of the 6. And Olosky, the player we focused on in the pregame, gets to the back post. He wins the race to get there. It's got to be better at the back post from Etu. Give away the corner kick, concede it, that's fine. But Olofsky, he takes the chance, and he can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. He bet on himself to get to the back post, and it's the simplest of tap-ins in the end.
County goal.
And in this home opener, the Riverhound fans are shocked to be down inside the first 3 minutes.
Who needs Milan when you have Brian? His first goal of the season after scoring just twice a year ago. Morten Carlson told us it's going to be a collective effort to pick up the pieces that Milan Olofsky left behind in the goal-scoring department. And talk about Orange County building on the confidence they gained from getting a point in Sacramento last time out. And they have the Players' Shield winners up against it on their own patch. Pittsburgh not going to waste any time. They get a throw-in the Orange County end. Griffin, who we highlighted earlier, wearing the captain's armband for Bob Lilly's group. Is bent down this near side. Ilal Osumanu on the cover. Kiza as the ball bounces in behind. DN helping out as well. Lovely hold-up play. Mertz involved now. Etu on the overlap. Mertz with the ball across. And it goes out of play.
Good response from the Riverhounds after conceding early. But going into this match, you start to look at history and trends. And for Bob Lilly, his side last year was the team that conceded the fewest amount of shots on goal all season. Well, who's number two? I'm glad you asked, Sean. It was the other side. Orange County conceded the second fewest shots on target. So as we come into this match, we start to expect very little to be given away, very few mistakes. We find ourselves 3 minutes in, and the visitors have created the first moment of this match, and that's really, really key. Now the Riverhounds have to continue to try to get back into this match as quickly as they can.
Hey fans, welcome to the 2024 USL Kickoff presented by Terminix. Throughout the month of March, the USL will be kicking off across the country. Join us for all the action on ESPN and CBS Sports platforms. That'll lead us into a replay of the Orange County 1 free kick.
That's a tough one for Zafal, who leaves himself open after he lifts his leg to win it. He's vulnerable and he's open. I don't think that there's anything in there from Kiza that's malicious in its intent. I think it's just unlucky and a painful one at that.
It's worth mentioning that Orange County has been one of those teams that Pittsburgh has struggled against in their history. Just one win in prior 8 meetings for Pittsburgh against Orange County. It actually came 10 years ago, back in 2014. So Pittsburgh, talk about history, they don't tend to do well against Orange County, at least in the winning department. And history, at least for 7 minutes and 24 seconds and counting, has held so far.
Good to see you've left no stone unturned in your preparation for this match, Sean. I only prepared up to 9 years ago. You got me beat.
Well, it's not a competition, Jimmy.
Well, hey, it's a competition right now for Pittsburgh to make sure that they're alert on defending here, and they cannot afford to concede a second one here inside the first 8 minutes. Got to make sure marking is tight. All the assignments are double checked now. Part of the responsibility will be Eric Dick and also the captain, Danny Griffin, to be able to make sure that everybody's accounted for, because these are big moments. Zubak again, the big target up top. He's the one that's going to try to get on the end of it. And this is where he can be at his most dangerous on the end of set pieces.
Zafal's ball in. Flicked on at the near post. It's not dealt with yet. Dogman on a recycle. And his ball back into the middle. He's dealt with by Danny Griffin. And Mertz attempting to save it just to the left of his coach. Sees it fly out of play. Again, August 8th, 2014 was the last Pittsburgh win against Orange County. It was a 1-0 win. Mike Green was the goal scorer. Pittsburgh Riverhounds fans that go back a ways will remember that name. It's Orange County who have the script flipped in their favor after an early goal converted by Brian Alaski after tremendous build-up play by Ryan Dogman. Of course, Pittsburgh were honored with the Players' Shields. Many players from the 2023 team celebrated at the middle of the pitch with the fans before the game. Bob Lilly said they're motivated by the early playoff exit here last season against Detroit City. It's a game that's going to go down as one of the great upsets in USL Championship playoff history. Pittsburgh again losing Dequa and losing others. Dequa, of course, MVP, Golden Boot winner a season ago now with Rhode Island. But Pittsburgh and under Bob Lilly, they still tend to go from strength to strength. The history of Bob Lilly's time in Pittsburgh supports that as well. And that's what we expect for them to be right back in the discussion once again.
Yeah, we expected Pittsburgh to be able to dictate the pace, and for Orange County right now, less is more. It's okay, you've got your goal. You can invite some pressure on. You can make sure that you're compact defensively, tough to break down. This is fine right now because now the onus is on Pittsburgh to go and force the issue. Orange County can be selective in their moments when they try to go forward. It can be difficult to be broken down.
Forbes. Walty. That was cut out. Stays with the Hounds on the near side. Another one of Bob Lilly's regulars, Danny Rivera, getting it back into play. Kizza, whose role will be expanded this season in an attacking sense. Osumanu. Good pressure by Zubak. Walty. Walty lines one up. Mertz. Mertz again. 4 players around him. Maybe a chance here for Etu. And it's well defended. Alaski tries to get on the second ball. Biasi slides in, and the visitors have it in possession.
Now, having said the part about less is more, you also can't sit back and sustain this pressure. So you do have to find the right balance of picking the moments when to go and when to go and press. Cannot sit too deep at the moment. No heroics needed from Shuttler. That's very relieving for Orange County fans as opposed to what they had to endure last week. But with this line is a little too deep for my liking. About 10 yards into your own half, the line of confrontation needs to be higher because this just invites everybody on. Now it's compact, but you're also at a point where any player can turn and put a ball in behind and have you running towards your goal like you're seeing now. It's a good switch to play.
Rivera's touch. Dogman tangling with Rivera. Rivera gets it into the middle. Headed out of harm's way and out for a throw-in.
And good pressure, and again, when you're higher up the field, Rivera's able to push and go forward. Now Orange County has a lot of numbers back. Also a lot of numbers for Pittsburgh forward.
Rivera was stood up. It's a Riverhounds recycle. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Good distribution out wide by Griffin. Osumanu composed. Orange County now flooding numbers forward. Osumanu again does well under pressure.
What a difference a little bit of pressure makes. 25 yards back. Now Pittsburgh breaks it so they can go, but Orange County, those are the moments you pick right there, and it just gets you back 25 yards and gets you a little bit of a reprieve from this sitting in. Back to being too deep though within 15 seconds.
Many teams found themselves in this kind of a position last year. Pittsburgh on the prowl. Here at Highmark once again. Walty trying to cross it into the middle. It ricochets back for Griffin. And then Forbes wins a throw as he looked for Etu. Our official in the middle of the park, Matt Thompson. Making sure Pittsburgh took the throw from the right spot. Rivera. Forbes. Lofting one for Mertz. And Mertz helps to win it back along with Walty after a poor touch. And the Riverhounds reset the play. Orange County coming off a season a year ago where they finished second in the West. Milanolowski, of course, led the team, 17 goals. He goes off to Europe to continue his professional career. They beat El Paso in the first round before losing in a heartbreaker, it must be said, extra time at home against eventual champions Phoenix. But a good amount of the players returning are mainstays in the lineup. Brian Olowski's already on the score sheet here today. They could gain a lot of confidence from these two road games at the start of the season. Two of the tougher environments potentially, and getting results would be just what the doctor ordered for Morten Carlson and his group.
To your point about Carlson and his group, as we look at Bob Lilly, one of the most accomplished coaches American soccer has ever seen. Coach of the year last year, second time in USL Championship being the coach of the year, 6th time overall as a head coach, various different leagues. Honestly, one of the great stewards of this game, and has mentored thousands of players. The web that is underneath him of coaches and players, you would need a calculator to add up the amount of people that he's impacted, and Pittsburgh are fortunate to have him.
We were saying this before we came on the air, Jamie. I mean, you could match up Bob Lilly's resume. Again, better coaches coach in different leagues, stuff like that, you can maybe argue that. But if you just look at the pure numbers and what he's done, not just with Pittsburgh, but with Rochester before that, in the USL Championship as a whole, there's not many coaches that have a better resume than Bob Lilly does on the American shores. And here's one of his best players, Kenardo Forbes, trying to curl one to Etu. They've been linking up quite a bit in this first half. And there the offside flag is up. It's Orange County back in possession. After the assist king Kenny tries to get Etu involved down that far side. And again, Morten Carlson, who had such an impact on the Danish men's national team at the last World Cup. It has just been, well, talk about a mentor for many players. Morten Carlson is certainly someone that fits the bill for that as well. Brought in as the interim coach last season, and frankly, at least from an outsider's point of view, they could have dropped that tag a lot earlier than they did, Orange County. He earned the job so well with what he did throughout last season and just vaulted Orange County up the Western Conference table. And again, they're a few moments away from maybe playing for the Western Conference title themselves a year ago. And he's got a team, again, without Milanolowski, but that has a lot of star power and a lot of talent. Orange County could be right in the midst of the race in the West again this season, even without the great Milanolowski.
When we got a chance to speak to him this week, he emphasized the fact that there are 17 returning players, 18 if you count Cameron Dunbar, who returns after being on loan. And I just got the feeling, in the sense that Morten Carlson, he bleeds orange. right? Like it's really ingrained in him how much he cares about this program, this football club, what they want to accomplish and achieve, and the heights that he thinks he can help guide this group to. So it's going to be exciting to see how he gets this full preseason, full cast of returning players to then go and try to make his mark as a manager. I think he still has higher levels to go around the world as a manager, but I think right now in the USL Championship, he's proving himself to be one of the bright young coaches in this league.
You mentioned 17 returning players. That's the most ever in Orange County's history. They've never had more returning players than they have this season. And some may forget, Morgan Carlson came in and it took a couple of weeks to really have the team figure things out. And at the time, I remember him mentioning to us that it was one of those things where he had to define roles for players on the team, because at the time, Orange County were down in the dumps, really, in the Western Conference of the USL Championship. They had just lost 4-0 at Colorado Springs, which was the low point of the 2023 campaign. And then things changed, and they've been riding that wave ever since, as the offside flag is up against Bryce Jamison on the near side.
Highmark Stadium is a smoke-free and vape-free facility. For the safety consideration of all of our guests, we ask for your cooperation. Thank you for keeping Highmark Stadium safe and smoke-free.
Forbes. Etu. Griffin, who's already been all over the place for the Riverhounds. As far as his positioning, he's covered so many bases for them already. Biasi. Etu from Griffin. Clever little dink down that far side, but Orange County had it covered.
That's our first splashdown of the season. All splashdowns
Forbes tried to find Kizza on the edge of the penalty area. Coming together, Orange County deals with it. And then the whistle from Matt Thompson halts the play. Well, that man's going to be another interesting cog in the Bob Lilly machine. The regulars like Danny Griffin, Kennardo Forbes, Robbie Mertz back in that midfield. How will Jackson Walty fit into that? Comes over from Colorado Rapids too. Just had a tremendous season in MLS Next Pro a year ago under Eric Boucher. And he comes into another great system with another great coach. And it just seems like his trajectory could really skyrocket under Bob Lilly this season. Ball is bent into the path of Mertz. Dien. Mertz for Forbes. Etu stays onside. Cross is blocked and out of the reach of Brian Alosky.
That's so good for Mertz, picking the moments when to go wide, create overloads, then when to find himself back into the middle of the park, dictating the pace. That's a key component to what Pittsburgh want to try to do in combination with Walty in the middle. They take their moments and figure out what the game's giving them, and then that's what they take.
By contacting the ticketing office at 412-865-GOAL.
Give and go between Mertz and Etu. Etu dragged down, free kick, yellow card. It's been that far side of the pitch where the link-up play's been good. It leads to a set piece.
Ashton Miles just late as he comes over, and I understand that he's now out of position. There's a bit of an unbalance, so he's got to commit the foul in a cynical nature. So for that, Ashton Miles will go into the book for a tactical foul.
First yellow card of the match.
It was booked against number 33, Ashton Miles.
And a set piece for Orange County to defend as they try to defend their 1-0 advantage. Ball is bent in Kiz's head. He's gonna see it bounce out of play.
Fans, do you want to see your post up on the big screen? Use the hashtag HoundTown for your chance to be featured on the video board throughout tonight's game.
You can see in the background they have the King Kenny counter. That's because Kenardo Forbes is getting close to setting the Pittsburgh all-time record for most appearances in club history. As Matt Thompson has waved the players over to their respective corners here.
This is one of the cool things that you're starting to see in sport, where you're seeing the respect being shown. So right now in Ramadan, you're Muslim, you're practicing fasting from sunrise to sunset. This is a beautiful moment that's happening. The game is stopped right now from our referee. So Zofian Zaval can break fast. Hasn't been able to eat or drink all day. So at the official time of sunset tonight, at 8:32 p.m. Eastern time, the game's able to pause. So that, 7:32 p.m. So that way he can break fast, have something to eat, something to drink, and the game stops here. It's the ultimate sign of respect. And this is something you love to see, where this is why it's the beautiful game. Any religion, any race, any gender can participate and be welcomed in this game. And that right there shows that to a T.
Very cool moment here at Highmark as we get to revisit Orange County's opening goal. Dogman's run, Brian Olaski's finish.
Well, it was a dream start, 3 minutes on the road for Orange County. That's all it took for them to be able to break past the team that allowed the fewest amount of shots on goal all season last year in the USL Championship. Brian Olaski getting to the back post. Dogman with some good individual skill to create that moment. And a dream start now for Orange County. Can they continue to handle the pressure, though, that Riverhounds have begun to apply since conceding early on?
Sean St. Jacques, Jamie Watson, our entire crew. Happy to have you with us here. Orange County leading Pittsburgh by that Brian Olaski goal to nil. So far, Pittsburgh have had a couple of half chances, have not quite been able to find a response yet. But they have been the aggressors since the ball went into their own net. Orange County haven't had too many opportunities since they scored. Zafal, lovely run. Bryce Jamison lays it off for Dogman. First time ball into the penalty area is dealt with by Etu and cleared away. Oh, right on cue, Orange County creates another brief moment of opportunity. Eric Dick off his line, collects. Forbes with the appearance tonight. He's now second all-time, tied for second all-time in Pittsburgh appearances ever. He's on the attack here with his teammates. Mertz played in, Rivera, first time ball. Slight handball appeals, nothing doing. Mertz surrounded by Orange County defense, and the visitors regained possession.
This is Mertz being incredibly smart. If it does hit the arm of Dogman, it's in tight to the chest. I think it's the right decision. Could have even been the shoulder. I think that's the right decision from our referee, Matt Thompson.
Especially nowadays, close quarters like that. Even if it had hit the arm, would have been very harsh.
And Matt Thompson is a referee with a really, really good resume so far in his officiating career. Bright future ahead of him as a referee. Been a good servant to the game at lower levels, working his way up, and he's a referee with a profile that likes to talk to players, give them the benefit of the doubt, keep the game going, let them be the stars, not himself. So he's a good official to have in the middle today.
Biasi a bit worse for wear after the challenge. Pittsburgh, with half an hour gone here at Highmark, find themselves in a very similar spot that they did in Albuquerque last time out. Having to come from behind after an early concession. Jamison ricochets. Well, we asked Bob Lilly a lot about things that he thought Pittsburgh needed to improve on coming off the game against New Mexico. He said we didn't harry them enough. We didn't make them work enough. And that, as we know, is just not Bob Lilly play. That's not how Pittsburgh likes to go about things. They like to be in your face. They want to make life as difficult for you as possible. He thought that they, in some ways, he said not taking anything away from New Mexico, but felt like they let them off the hook a little bit at times. Orange County has been under a lot of pressure so far in this one after scoring, but again, Pittsburgh have not been able to hold them accountable yet with a big chance in the attack. Of course, the other part of that coin, as Bob Lilly alluded to, is that New Mexico were very impressive. They will certainly be a team that Orange County and others in the West will have to contend with under the tutelage of Eric Quill.
Fans, please remember that Highmark Stadium is a family-friendly environment. We ask that you enjoy yourself, but also do so in a responsible way that's considerate of those
eFootball 2024 is here. Live your
much for
dream,
joining us
rep
here
your
this
team,
evening.
and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now.
I never got a chance to play for Bob Lilly in my career, but I do remember one game in 2010, second game of the season, the first road game for the Rochester Rhinos at the time that he managed. They came into Austin, Aztecs at the time, and they beat us 2-1 on a late winner. And it was the home opener. And we couldn't believe it. Devastated in the locker room. We had a locker room next to the Riverhounds. And for an hour after the game, we could hear Bob Lilly screaming and ripping a new one to all the players on the Riverhounds because he had such a high standard that he went and won on the road in the second game of the season, and it still wasn't a good enough performance from his team. Remember the players in our locker room looking around going, did we share that we were the team that lost? We can hear the manager over there, Bob Lilly, yelling at his team and holding them accountable to a higher standard and saying, even though you're winning on the road, that isn't good enough performance to get it done. So I was sold on Bob Lilly that day in 2010, and he's continued to far exceed expectations and standards for coaches and players for over a decade plus from that day.
Well, you talk about it, right? 13 years later, last year, he had one of his best teams. They made, Players' Shield winners, made a deep run in the Open Cup, beat MLS opposition on multiple occasions, including beating Columbus Crew here and winning at New England against Bruce Arena in Gillette Stadium. Of course, again, the heartbreak in the playoffs is what was the last final note, but takes nothing away from the incredible season the Riverhounds had under Bob Lilly a year ago. with some of the same pieces in place. Again, defensively, there was a lot of changes with Arturo Ordonez going to Louisville City, being the most notable in defense. Albert Deekwood of Rhode Island, most notably in attack, and others. As we talked about earlier, I should say, if anybody can handle that and bring back just as good of a team, it's Bob Lilly. As the referees have a discussion over the last sequence.
It's involving Danny Rivera. A little bit of contact off the ball, and our referee just making sure there was nothing that happened that would warrant any further action. It was just that question of that left hand, and Rivera's going to make the case. And he was just trying to use a little bit of a swim move to get around Dogman, and looks like he's been convincing enough.
Well, that's where communication, like you mentioned earlier, from the referee, in this case Matt Thompson, is so important. Might have been a thing where they didn't see it or didn't see it in the same way, but it's been noted and it'll be looked out for. 10 minutes left in the half. Pittsburgh regained possession. After they had a couple of nice waves of attacks, it does seem like that Orange County have been able to slow down Pittsburgh's onslaught just a touch. Griffin and Forbes connecting. Nice touch by Mertz, who's dragged down. Kizza comes away with it. Referee plays advantage. Dien. Etu in support. Dien keeps it alive, however, Orange County have it back, but only for a moment.
It's a poor giveaway. Orange County can't afford to just give it right back to Pittsburgh. It's been too much of sustained pressure right now to have careless giveaways.
Dien. Nice turn inside the penalty area. Referee has a look. Was there a penalty? Etu incensed. Referee waves away any appeals.
That's our second splash down of the
Some of the Riverhounds here beside themselves. Matt Thompson not amused.
A big decision. It's most certainly in the box. There's a reach. That is a, yeah, I think it's actually the right decision. I think that it's very soft. I think that it's clever from Ato'o to be able to try to say, let's try to see if we can win something here. Etu, excuse me, but I don't think that's enough for a penalty.
The Pittsburgh Riverhounds faithful not quite on the same page.
Although if I'm Ashton Miles, I'd pull out of any potential 50-50 challenge now, already being on a yellow and getting the benefit of it out on that one inside the box.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Here's Walty. Can Pittsburgh get back on level terms before the halftime break? Rivera looking for Mertz over the top. Goalkeeper comes for it on the edge of the penalty area. And as Kizza lashed it back inside the 18-yard box, play is stopped as Shuttler headed it on the edge of his own 18-yard box.
Clever run from Mertz in behind, and Shuttler comes out bravely, sticking his head in there where it doesn't belong, outside of his box, so he can't use his hands, and it's actually going to absorb this contact in the chest and the shoulder area. You know, Mertz is trying to get to it first. It's an honest play for Mertz, but Shuttler, brave goalkeeping and last-ditch defending to go in there and really understand that as he puts his head in there, he's going to get the full weight of Robbie Mertz's right foot, trying to go up and over, trying to get a shot off. Shuttler puts his body on the line bravely.
Last time he used his head, it was to get an equalizing goal in stoppage time against Sacramento. This one more on the defensive side.
It goes differently, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not as glamorous.
But just as effective in some ways. Looks like Shuttler's holding his chest where contact came from Mertz, who was beaten to it by Shuttler. Well, Riverhounds fans not happy, but Shuttler did win the challenge and wins a free kick for Orange County after Robbie Mertz was close but did not get there in time. From Shuttler's free kick, it actually nearly bounced nicely for Jameson. In the end, easy enough for Osumanu. Orange County picking this opportunity to put a little bit of pressure on. This is Kisipli. That too will shepherd it out of play.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you treat yourself tonight to our stadium special menu items. We're celebrating St. Patrick's Day with the Irish Whiskey Burger at the train on the east end of the stadium.
Riverhounds fans, please join us Saturday, April 6th for the Wild Wild West night as the Riverhounds welcome Tampa Bay Rowdies to town. Special appearance by Luke Rollins as well. Get your tickets today. It's become another great Eastern Conference rivalry, the Hounds and the Rowdies. They had a couple of great encounters last season. Of course, Pittsburgh pipped Tampa Bay to the Players' Shield as well, along with Sacramento. That'll be a heck of a rematch at the beginning of next month. Ryan Olowski's goal has Orange County ahead in this one. Came back in the 3rd minute. Griffin, showing you how versatile he is. He's been in the midfield all around the defense as well. He's on the ball again here, striding ahead. Mertz in support, Rivera. First time ball into the penalty area is dangerous, and Shuttler makes a tremendous save on the header by Babacar Dieng.
Riverhounds fans, it's time for a corner kick.
The timing is spot on from Dieng to go and meet this at its apex, and he gets up and over it, so he's able to head it down. Mertz again, the catalyst. Just hangs this up there. Dieng goes and gets it, and it's a spectacular save from Shuttler. Textbook to push it around. That is goalkeeping at its finest. A strong left hand to push it away.
It's the closest Pittsburgh has come. From the corner, Mertz. Osumanu's header, volleyed by Forbes. And it's tame and it's wide. Encouraging from Pittsburgh. Shuttler just too good in the end. Jameson's pressure. Forbes got a knee onto it. Forbes, a reverse ball. You could see where he was looking, trying to find Mertz. Walty battling for it, commits a foul. Sent forward by Kisipli, who was also on the score sheet last time out against Sacramento. That was Kisipli's 2nd ever goal for Orange County. Both of them came at Sacramento in his Orange County career. Go figure. But he gives the ball away here, high up the field. Forbes assessing his options. Osumanu. Rivera. Griffin from Biasi. Kiza is held and then gets it back from Rivera.
Good hold of play from Kiza.
Biasi kept alive for Griffin, who blazes it over after a great layoff by Junior Etu. It's deflected, and it's out for a corner.
Riverhounds fans, it's time for another corner kick.
That is so good from Partita in the end to be able to get there, to win the race and be able to deflect that up and over. That is determination from Kevin Partita to do what it takes to keep his team up a goal as we hit the 45-minute mark.
Mertz from the corner as we're into 5 added minutes at the end of the half. Etu on a recycle. Back into the penalty area. No one really could redirect it for Pittsburgh. A lot of bodies going up for the ball. Plenty of time for a late first half twist. Griffin. Forbes from Mertz. Biasi pressured by Kisipli. Etu. Forbes. Mertz. Etu across the face. And no one could get a touch after some delicately weighted build-up play.
Oh, but the final touch from the Riverhounds. This is soccer the way that it's meant to be played. Good movement off the ball, 1 and 2 touch passing. And then ultimately it is just inches away from being the perfect team goal. Orange County up against the ropes now. Hoping to be saved by the bell with this halftime whistle fast approaching. The Riverhounds look like they are firmly in the ascension right now with momentum. But can they capitalize? That's the difference right now.
Another giveaway. Forbes into the middle. It's blocked by Kisipli. Now on the other end, Zubak trying to chest it down in control. He is dispossessed. Etu. Forbes. Mertz. Etu again. Trying to pick out somebody. Rivera. Volleyed off the bar by Mertz. Walty looks to recover. Jamison keeps it in play. Chance to recycle it. Rivera's cross is blocked. That's a wonderful strike by Robbie Mertz, and only the frame thwarts him. Pittsburgh keep on pushing. Biasi. And then DN couldn't quite lure it under his spell. Shuttler under pressure. Can Pittsburgh take advantage of this and get a late first half equalizer? Orange County have been pegged back here as far as their defensive setup, but they get to alleviate some of the pressure.
Let's take a look again at the technique from Robbie Mertz. Gets himself square on so he can hit across the face of it, so it's going to trail away from Shuttler. And oh my goodness, that is so close to being spectacular. Unfortunate for Mertz. Incredibly fortunate for Shuttler. That is how close we are to being tied.
A minute and a half left in the half. Wave after wave of Pittsburgh attacks. Orange County's lead stands for now. Played ahead by Biasi, one back. Can Orange County maybe land a late sucker punch? Jamison battling for it. Forbes and Rivera clear the lines for the Riverhounds. Kiza. Forbes delicately, like a pitching wedge, into the path of Walty. Walty thinks he's being fouled or looking for something. It's going to be Pittsburgh's throw in front of Morten Carlson. Not much time, but still enough time maybe for one more chance. Rivera keeps it alive. Kizza. Dien. Mertz for Forbes. Pittsburgh keep on building. Biasi. Etu. Poking it across. Good step by Kasipli, who clears. And it's good hold-up play as well by Zubac. Maybe Orange County can counterattack at the end here. Zubac continued his run. Jamison thought better of it. Final seconds of the half. Partita forced back by Walty. Orange County will have it in possession as the half ends here at Highmark. Brian Alaski's third-minute goal has the visitors ahead for now. But wave after wave of Pittsburgh attacks has seen the Riverhounds huff and puff. But for now, Orange County's house stays intact at the half, Jamie.
Wow, it feels as though Orange County were able to survive only just at the very end of that half. They just felt the momentum going. They knew they had to keep the foot on the pedal, and they did so, and came inches away from being able to find that equalizer. Orange County did enough early on to get their goal. They sat back and rested on their laurels. That won't be enough in the second half. They're gonna have to do something different in order to keep this lead, because they cannot afford to absorb the pressure, absorb that amount of pressure for the next 45 minutes. It would just be unsustainable.
It's very well poised for the second half here at Highmark, but it's the Players' Shield winners from last season behind against one of the best from the West in Orange County. Big 45 minutes still to come. The Allegheny Health Network halftime is coming up next.
Have you seen the new double-sided scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery? It's $1 Million Multiplier Madness. And it comes with a bonus game on the back for even more chances to win. It's like having a piece of cake for dessert, and then having another piece of cake. Because after all, who doesn't like more of a good thing?
Scratch it, flip it, and keep on scratching.
This is not the first all-electric car. That's because no BMW sees the road until it's reached the ultimate standard, our own. A standard that demands that every BMW drives and feels exactly like a BMW should. Unparalleled performance and precision handling made possible by electric engineering. But isn't that what you'd expect from the ultimate electric driving machine? Free and release the 2024 BMW i4 eDrive 35 for $499 per month.
Halftime is presented by Allegheny Health Network, the official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds SC. Orange County leads here at Highmark with 45 minutes still to play. Brian Alaski's goal has Orange County ahead at the half by 1-0. Sean St. Jacques, Jamie Watson, let's take you through the upcoming schedule for both teams. Pittsburgh have a very tough upcoming slate. We talked about the Rowdies game at the beginning of April. Before that, they have to go play Lou City on the road, and of course Rhode Island on the road as well. Then on the other side of things for Orange County, couple of home games, Miami and Tulsa, and then Memphis, San Antonio, and then Sac Republic. Not easy either for Morten Carlson's group.
My goodness, that is a daunting task. But with that, you start to go, can you get a result here tonight that would springboard you into another long trip to Miami next weekend? And then you're on the road again. This is a tumultuous first initial part of the schedule for Orange County. But if they can navigate it, pick up a road result or two along the way, my goodness, that sets them up to be able to come back home and be able to parlay that into a fast start in the season.
I feel like we say this year in and year out, but it just seems like every year the league is getting better. It's getting deeper. You could pick any stretch of 5 games out of these guys' schedules. It's not going to be easy, whether it's Pittsburgh, Orange County, or anybody else in between. That's what it feels like. And it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams handle it moving forward. We'll step aside. News and notes, USL Championship schedule, live scores, and more from around the league is coming up next. And then after that, of course, we'll get you to the second half between Pittsburgh and Orange County here at Highmark.
You'll get it done.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
You've given us a foundation to be proud of. We build on this now. This is it now, gents. This is us from now on.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
They're hungry for the women's game. They want to see women's soccer. They want to play women's soccer, and that's what we're building at the USL.
See? It's just like real camping.
Ugh, we even have real ants. Ew.
Like I said, real camping.
When ants show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Back here at the half, Sean St. Jacques, Jamie Watson here with you. Orange County ahead at Pittsburgh at the moment. Still a big 45 minutes to come here at Highmark Stadium. We're excited for it, but before that, we get a chance to take a look around the league at the news and notes. And of course, the first thing to look at is the revamped Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup for 2022. And we saw what Pittsburgh did last year. A couple of years ago, Sac Republic got to the final as well against Orlando City and MLS side. So we're expecting big things, not just from the championship guys, but also from League One and beyond that as well from the USL contingent.
I don't think the path has been clearer ever before for a USL team to find themselves navigating their way through the Lamar Hunt US Open Cup, reaching the final. You talk about Sacramento Republic and the historic run that they had all the way to the final. That had been since the Rochester Rhinos back in the day to make it all the way to the final. Mark Briggs, one of the brightest coaches in North America, getting his team there. And you look a little bit below that, Trevor Amon. He goes and wins the Week 1 Player of the Week, his brace for Sacramento. Ultimately, the party was spoiled by Colin Shuttler, goalkeeper for Orange County, with his 96th-minute header. But having said all that, right now the USL Championship is, to what you alluded to, at its peak and its pinnacle of ability and talent that we've ever seen. And now, can that translate to the Open Cup? And can we continue to see players like Trevor Amon come up from League One and continue to make a mark in the USL Championship?
I'm sure what rivals around the league, when they saw that move that Sacropelic made, was like, do they really need more attacking firepower? Well, Mark Briggs said, yeah, we do, and we're going to do just that by bringing in Trevor Amon to link up with Russell Cicerone, who will be back next time out. We are expecting a really fun second half here at Highmark Stadium. Pittsburgh had the momentum going into the half, but it's Orange County who have the lead by a 1-0. Highlights, stats, and the second half from the Steel City are next.
At AHN, good heart care starts before you're just not feeling right. Before you say, it'll go away on its own. Before it doesn't. Because before an emergency, there's time to stop heart problems with a simple preventative heart check. At AHN, we see you.
Pittsburgh is our home. Check in with Thermo Twin. We are employee owned. Check in with Thermo Twin. Check in. Check in. Check in. Check in. Check in with Thermo Twin.
Right now, check in with Thermo Twin for 24-month financing.
Check in with Thermo Twin.
A memorial, a museum, a tribute. Soldiers and sailors, so much more than statues and stone. A historic regional asset with enriching student activities, special adult events, and a perfect setting for weddings and corporate celebrations. Check out our monthly calendar at soldiersandsailorshall.org for more.
Sean St. Jacques, Jamie Watson back here with you. Allegheny Health Network halftime here in Pittsburgh. Orange County leads by a 0-0. Second half coming up in just a moment. But first, we get to the first half highlights brought to you by Corona. And Jamie, we begin with the goal inside of 3 minutes from Brian Alosky.
Well, if you were late to join us, first of all, what were you doing? And secondly, you would have missed this. Dogman does a brilliant job of a little bit of individual skill, starts to unbalance the Riverhounds defense, and then just guides it across. Hopeful, speculative, ultimately on point. Alosky gets to the back post, wins the race. Atu doesn't do a good enough job of getting the position battle, and ultimately Alosky is able to sneak in and grab a shock lead. And then from there, a lot of defending and some one-way traffic in favor of the Riverhounds, and this was the best of the bunch. This save from Shuttler was something special. Really, really good save. And as we started to get really to the waning moments, you thought, could there be another decisive moment for the Riverhounds? Well, yeah, there was. But there was not much Shuttler could do about this, because as it's going to fall eventually to Robbie Mertz on the volley, he's going to position himself to be able to strike across the face of it. This will be a really good look, because you'll see this is pulling away from Shuttler. And he had to just watch and hope that this was going to stay out of his net. Unfortunately for Shuttler in Orange County, it did.
Brian Alosky's goal was the only shot on target for Orange County in the first half. And it's been relatively even all the way. Even in XG, we just took a peek at that point. It's just 0.29 for Pittsburgh, 0.26 for Orange County. The big differential really has been in possession, where Pittsburgh's had 72%.
Yeah, and that's going to be unsustainable for Orange County. These two teams, last season, Pittsburgh gave up the fewest amount of shots on goal, Orange County the second fewest. So no real surprise that each team has only been allotted one shot on target. But Orange County made theirs count. Pittsburgh have yet to be able to do anything of real substance going forward.
So we will see who will come out on top in the second half. Quick look around the league before we get to that. How about Lou City with a big win at El Paso? A late stoppage time equalizer for Rhode Island gets their first home goal in the USL Championship. What a moment there in New England.
Now, 4 years in the making for Rhode Island FC. They had to wait 4 years for their first game, and they had to wait 92 minutes to get their first goal, but what a huge moment that was. They earned a result in front of 5,252 fans at Burns Stadium, and Jack Blake again on the score sheet for Indy 11.
I know it's week 2. I just want to say one thing. Circle that Loudoun, North Carolina scoreline. It might be a different year for Ryan Martin's Loudoun than we've seen in the past. We will see, because they've had nice starts before. They might have a team, though, Jamie, that can sustain it. We'll have to wait and see how all of that plays out. Tampa Bay, Indy, also getting good results there. Can Miami do it for a second week in a row? They will be an interesting story to follow as well as we move on to the middle parts of the USL Championship season. But there's still business to be done here in the Steel City. Orange County looking good for now, but Pittsburgh have the momentum, and they've been in the ascension as the first half moved along. Can that carry over into the second half, which begins as the train flies on the tracks beyond us here at Highmark Stadium? Tremendous crowd. Really good half from Pittsburgh, other than the concession of the third-minute goal. From that point, though, they pretty much dominated possession. They had many more of the opportunities, but did not find a reply. Robbie Mertz and, I should add, Babacar Dieng, the two players coming the closest for the Hounds. Pittsburgh with just one win ever against Orange County in the history of this fixture. And again, it came a decade ago, August 8th, 2014. Last time these two met here, Pittsburgh had the lead for a vast majority. It was a 90th minute Milan Alaski equalizer for the then Richard Chaplow-led Orange County. It was actually a result that kept Orange County at the time in the playoff hunt for an extra couple of days before the, at the time, defending champions were later eliminated. Bryce Jamieson spinning out of a couple of challenges. And he ends up winning a free kick for his troubles. Orange County are donning their, what they're calling their classic orange kits tonight, and they're shining rather brightly, literally and figuratively, in the Steel City so far. But can they build on their lead? They didn't really get many opportunities to in the first half, and can they alleviate the Pittsburgh pressure, which was just mounting on them as the first half moved along? Here is the captain, Kisipli. Zefal, we saw that great moment with him getting some refreshment during the first half. Observing Ramadan as the sun set here in Pittsburgh. See if he could be a difference maker in the second half. One of the players that has come in and has experience at the top level for Morten Carlson's group. Dieng, found by Griffin. Mertz, who just made his 100th appearance for Pittsburgh last time out against New Mexico in that 1-0 defeat. The 17th player in Pittsburgh's history to reach that tally. And they've had some good ones around these parts. That's a lovely ball played through. It looked like Zubak was taken out. Play was allowed to continue, and now it looks like there might be a possible head injury. Morten Carlson is beside himself. on the near side, wondering why a foul wasn't given.
Zubak never sees the contact being initiated, and that is incredibly painful. As he's got eyes on the ball, it's just in that moment, the height difference is going to be key here to why this collision happens, and that is a tough one between Biasi and Zubak.
Another one of those where there was no malintent, but Morten Carlson is making the argument that the contact was still worthy of a foul. But the most important thing is the hope that Zubak and Biasi are both okay, because those could be very, very dangerous collisions. This is Morten Carlson right after the foul was not given.
I'll let you read those lips. I like my job. I don't want to repeat what he said.
I also like mine, so I'll pass. But I think those at home can do the math. Bob Lilly, just a constant teacher, instructor. Well, constantly a coach, really, for his group. Things are happening, the storm rages on behind the scenes. He's focused on the next step. And that's what the best coaches do. They stay calm under pressure. Not saying what Morten Carlson did was over the line. That must be reiterated. Got to fight for your team as well. But Bob Lilly not worried about what's happening there, worried about what his team has to do next. The dust settles. Pittsburgh are in possession. Mertz. Oh, it was a wonderful idea to try to find Deanne. Better cutout defensively. Orange County does well to, well, really anticipate it. In the end, Walty has to recycle the possession for Biasi. The USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN Plus. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Did you hear that, Jamie? They called you an expert. Not bad.
Loosely termed. We won't talk about the air quotes that you did off camera here.
Well, I know they're not talking about me, so. Here's Biasi, pinging one towards the far side. Shepherded out of play for a goal kick. That is one of the big storylines coming into the season, is not just these games continuing on ESPN Plus, but CBS getting in on this as well. It's a gigantic achievement, I think, for USL Championship and the league as a whole. And the fans, I think in particular, deserve this kind of coverage. And I think from many reactions are extremely happy so far with how it's been received.
And congratulations to everybody at USL Championship for getting that deal put together. And the likes of Matt Fisher's been around, the higher ups to Justin Papadakis and Paul McDonough now in charge of USL. You start to think, wow, this is really taking the next step in the evolution of this league, and fans are rewarded. Also, it's driven by the players on the field and the level of play. It sells itself when you have a really high level of product to put out in front of the people who want to watch it and consume all of these matches and this content. So congratulations to everyone, but most importantly to us who get to benefit and watch it on some incredible networks.
Kizza. Rivera. Dangerous ball in. It's a bicycle kick attempt by Mertz. Orange County have to keep it alive in the end. Goal scorer Oloski is harried. In the end, will give his team a chance to breathe.
He's going to hang up invitingly. Just the connection on that. You either end up on your backside wondering where that went wrong, or you end up on SportsCenter Top 10. That was more the former than the latter.
You ever scored one of those?
I'm going to lie right to your face and say yes.
I believe
There's just
you.
no video of it, so don't go looking for it, right?
So not in a game?
No.
Yeah.
Practice all the time. Incredibly difficult skill to pull off. That's why you see the players go absolutely crazy when they pull that off.
Here is Mertz, looking for Kizza. Nearly fell for Walty. Kept alive by Forbes. More Pittsburgh pressure mounting on the Orange County goal. Orange County clinging to their 1-goal advantage.
We were critical in the first half when they were 10 yards inside their own half. Right now, they are 25 yards pinned into their own half, Orange County. Saying needs must, but right now, they must need to get higher up the field. This is finally a chance for them to get a reprieve from the pressure.
Oloski tried to bend it into the path of a teammate. Griffin cleans it up. DN helps it along. Kizza gives possession back. And it's going to be an Orange County free kick. Just to give Orange County a moment to regather themselves, that's an important sequence of play. Miles, who's still on that yellow card. It's worth keeping in mind as the half moves along. Only player with a yellow card hanging over their head at the start of the second half, which is now 10 minutes and change gone. Biasi with Lamb on his hip. Given away to Forbes by Kisipli. Walty, lovely ball for DN to chase. And then DN is wiped out cleanly by Miles, who does very well in the end for Orange County. The shin guard flies off as the ball was played ahead towards Zubak, who was dispossessed. Oloski looks to have recovered. I think that was his shin pad that came off. Etu, first time ball across, dealt with initially. Mertz trying to find Forbes, who was winding up. Mertz, Forbes, and Kisipli. Able to find Bryce Jamison, US Youth International. He's slowed down.
This is where you get your rest if you're Orange County with the ball. Even the Riverhounds have exhausted themselves with the continual pressure that they've applied. That's why you're seeing this little bit of a lull. Both teams probably okay with it at this moment in time to catch their breath. Still early on, so match fitness is always going to be lingering over every player's head this early into the season. As we get into this, approaching the hour mark, this is where it becomes about the mindset you have, the 6 inches between your ears, to not make the mistakes and to be as clean as you can be in these moments. Concentrate and focus on your first touch and your passing.
The goal scorer, Oloski. Partita. Zefal Again, the pass is picked off by Rivera. Mertz, twisting and turning to the ground, free kick.
Mertz does ever so well to just cut across Dogman, and eventually Dogman will see yellow.
Here comes a change. Yellow card does come out for Dogman. They're holding Mertz to the ground. Looks like these are Orange County changes here. Zubak, Jameson, both coming off.
Substitutions for Orange
Christian
County.
Sordo, Thomas Among, and Cameron Dunbar all coming on. It's a triple change, and Brian Olaski's the third to leave. So again, just to recap that, 3 changes at once with half an hour to play for Morten Carlson. Olaski, Jameson, and Zubak off. Sorto, Dunbar, and Among all on for Orange County. All after Ryan Dogman booked for bringing down Mertz. So the first 3 changes of the game.
A yellow card against Orange County, booked against number 23, Ryan Dogman.
So fresh legs in the attack and in the midfield for Morten Carlson, as Orange County are hanging on for dear life to this 1-0 lead. Rivera trying to cross into the middle, wins a corner for Pittsburgh.
Riverhounds fans, it's time for another corner kick.
Dogman and Miles have to be careful on yellow cards as well as we get into the latter stages. Mertz from the corner. Headed high into the air again. It nearly fell for Forbes, but the referee brings it to a halt for a handball inside the penalty area against Pittsburgh.
As we reach the final half hour of this match, you're going to see 2 teams with 2 different mindsets. Right? With Pittsburgh, they want to make this game beautiful, passing quickly from side to side. They want to try to do everything they can to open up Orange County, to get them unbalanced, to try to find those moments to penetrate. And for Orange County, they want to make this as ugly as possible, break up any sort of rhythm, take all the time that they can get, try to make sure that they do everything to break up any flow and rhythm that the Riverhounds want to try to achieve and to grab onto to try and go and get an equalizer. It's a big task ahead, and so far Orange County have been up to it, but they've been on the back foot for quite some time now. Those substitutions hopefully will bring some fresh legs in to try to go and press and to be able to win the ball higher up the field and keep them from having to sit back in so deep.
In some ways, Jamie, this feels a little bit like the playoff game against Detroit last season that ended Pittsburgh's historic campaign. Detroit scored early, and they held on to knock the Riverhounds out. And Bob Lilly said that the team has to learn from that result. And he talked about doing more when Pittsburgh has possession. We've seen signs of that, but again, no end product. For Pittsburgh's home opener, we've just been told 5,125 fans here inside Highmark. Expect nothing less from the Hound support than one of the best in American soccer. And they've been loud, they've been proud tonight, but their team still trails and still needs their support the rest of the way here. One of Pittsburgh's own here, Robbie Mertz is in some discomfort. Among also helped back up, it looks like, after this sequence.
Among with the heavy touch and comes down and oof. That is a nasty reach. Among goes high on the leg of Mertz with the bottom of his cleats.
The referee was just making a note in his book, and I think that's because, and yes, that's the case, Thomas Among has been booked for the challenge we just saw on the replay. That's headed into the path of Mertz. Cross into the middle is blocked and held by Shuttler.
County, number 21, Thomas Amang.
Robbie Mertz got in very good position there for Pittsburgh, but couldn't find a teammate in the middle of the penalty area. Griffin. Mertz playing it into the path of Dien. Dien goes down. We play on. Ball is swung over to Lamb. Tries to get Orange County on the front foot. And Among just goes right through the back of Biasi. And he's just been booked. Didn't need to do that. Pittsburgh regained possession. Two reasons for that not being the right decision there for Among. Orange County now have to go back into a defensive shape. Griffin. Lovely ball played into the path of Mertz. Mertz is surrounded by orange shirts.
Fans, just a reminder that after the game, players will be signing autographs on the pitch. Stick around to meet the team, presented by King Orthodontics.
At 2.
Pittsburgh's most confident smiles with locations in Wexford.
Leaves
and
it for
Richfield.
Griffin.
Visit them at kingorthodontics.com.
Osumanu. Can Pittsburgh find an opening? Can they get back on level terms? Kizza, second best, but it's going to be a Pittsburgh throw. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XMFC 157. North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more. All on Sirius XMFC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Another physical tussle leads to a foul being given to Pittsburgh here. Free kick. Bob Lilly is getting a couple of changes ready as he looks to give the Riverhounds some reinforcements. But now Orange County have a chance to break here. They have some numbers as well, but it's wonderfully recovered by Canardo Forbes. He's just a cornerstone of this Riverhounds group. Lamb's header. Sipley trying to free Among on this near side. Sordo in support. Orange County can reset. Something they, haven't been able to do too much. And as soon as I say that, they give the ball away. Dien plays in. Robbie Mertz, who beats the goalkeeper, but sees it cleared off the line. Great clearance by Kevin Partita after Shuttler was beaten by Mertz's chip. And it's out for a Riverhounds corner.
Oh man, a poor giveaway. And Pittsburgh off to the races with the end. The timing of this is so good as Mertz comes through. Little slip through, Mertz has to go up and over Shuttler as he comes out in Partita. If it wasn't him, it would have been the other defender, Lamb, on the line that would have been able to clear it out. Nonetheless, very alert defending.
Pittsburgh is also going to make 3 changes. Pat Hogan, Langston Blackstock, and Emmanuel Johnson all coming on. Looks like Etu and Dien are 2 of the 3 coming out.
Firstly coming out, number 27, Babacar Dien. And in his place, number 3, Pat Hogan. Checking out as well, number 4, Danny Rivera.
And then Danny Rivera, the 3rd of those 3. So Etu, Rivera, Dien out, Hogan, Blackstock, EJ, Emmanuel Johnson on. 20 minutes and change left. It's a Pittsburgh corner by Forbes, headed on at the near post. And it ricochets back out for another Hounds set piece as Kizza was able to redirect it. 3 changes for what hopes to be, from a Pittsburgh perspective, a late Riverhounds push for an equalizer. Forbes again. Shuttler's punch. Blackstock recovers. Mertz assessing his options. Gets it back from Biasi. 20 minutes of the 90 left. Ball is flicked on. Nearly fell for Johnson, but Hogan's high boot sees Orange County win a free kick, and Hogan is booked as well. Minutes, maybe even seconds after coming on. And now, because of that, Zafalu got the worst of it. May very well be suffering from a head injury here and needs some assistance. To say the last 20 minutes could be a bit chaotic here at Highmark might be an understatement as we get another look.
This is gonna bounce its way in, and as the fall sticks his head down, Hogan is just trying to wrap his foot around it and get a shot off. And he catches the ball cleanly. I mean, that is a painful one. Where's the ball to absorb and to take? But that is terribly unlucky for Hogan. Never sets out to catch the ball in the head, but that's the outcome, and finds himself in the book for it.
Shuttler will get it back into play.
Riverhounds. It's booked against number 3, Pat Hogan.
And Brian Olaski's goal came back in the 3rd minute. Feels like ages ago, when Orange County took the lead off a wonderful assist by Ryan Dogman. That is still the margin. Pittsburgh have come the closest on multiple occasions since. But so far, Morton Carlson's boys have held on.
Addition to Highmark Stadium, the Crumble Cookie Stand.
Mertz flicks it on. Kasipli. Sordo finds Lamb. Can Orange County find a second goal here? Among with the holdup. Scored in the playoffs. Orange County last season against Phoenix, Thomas Among. That's a lovely little turn and move into space. It's a foul against the substitute Johnson, and an Orange County free kick, which helps them manage the game a bit. Pass to this near side was tough for Kasipli to work with. It's a giveaway. Morton Carlson's boys have already pulled out one impressive result, getting a point at Sac Republic with a Shuttler equalizer. Can they do the same thing here and maybe make it 3 points at Highmark? Not sure when the schedule came out if many gave Orange County much of a chance in these two. They might be able to come out of this with 4 very impressive points.
There won't be very many teams that come into Highmark and get a result. So if you're any one of these players on Orange County or in Carlson, you're thinking, how deep can you dig right now to find that mental fortitude to just keep defending? If the chance is on for a break through Among, one of the substitutes, yeah, take it. But right now, you have to make sure that you're doing your part defensively.
Wonderful ball by Forbes. And Johnson, not sure if he tried a shot or a cross. In the end, it's out for another Hounds corner.
Gerardo Forbes, one of the best passers on the field tonight. Just won't sit up fast enough for Johnson. He's ahead of it, so he's chasing it as he strikes it. That's why he's unable to get anything of real substance on it.
Pittsburgh's corner, headed by Blackstock. And it's headed over the top and out. More fantastic Riverhounds service, but again, no finish.
Fans, our next game is Saturday,
Blackstock does ever so well to meet it at the right point. And he's unable to guide that underneath the crossbar. It's a good job of timing the movement inside the box on the set pieces to arrive right when it reaches the highest point. Just unable to really threaten Shuttler.
Sordo at the other end against the run of play. Orange County grab a second. It's an astonishing bit of counterattacking. Cameron Dunbar gives Orange County a 2-0 lead at Highmark. And after all of the Pittsburgh pressure, they're hit on the counter. And Orange County are in pole position for 3 incredibly impressive points at Highmark.
It's Morton's masterclass. To come into Highmark, get a goal early, survive the first hour, make the substitutions, and one of those substitutes, Amon goes up, wins it, and then the ball finds its way in cleverly to Dunbar, and that is such a good little sidestep.
Orange County goal.
The 3 substitutes combining. Dunbar gets his feet right, composes himself, finishes it expertly into the corner. Against the run of play, against the odds, it doesn't matter. Orange County find themselves 2 goals to the good.
In his place, number 15.
Cameron Dunbar in his first full season with Orange County. He was on loan with the club from Minnesota United at the end of the season last year. He made only 5 appearances with the MLS side. He scores his first Orange County goal. And then the substitution after that, Partita off. Hashish Chata comes on for Morton Carlson. Pittsburgh looking to respond when it's nearly ricocheted back on target. Mertz playing it in. It's another Pittsburgh corner. And the Riverhounds now have 13 minutes to score twice.
This is some sick little bit of skill. Watch this little whoop right into the path of Robbie Mertz. Thank you very much from Danny Griffin, the captain.
And from the corner, Hogan's header. Not directed on frame. Kept alive, Blackstock to chase. Gets it off of Sordo, but he did so unfairly with a push in the back. Well, it gives us a chance to remind you again that Riverhounds fans can join us at Highmark again Saturday, April 6th. Wild, Wild West night. Riverhounds welcome Tampa Bay Rowdies to town. Special appearance by Luke Rollins. Get your tickets today. What a moment for Cameron Dunbar from Carson, California, scoring for Orange County at Highmark. And Orange County have gone from holding onto a slim lead to having a rather comfortable margin to work with 12 minutes left. It's turned into double trouble for Pittsburgh here on their home patch. They need to score twice to get a result here now. especially during the incredible run that Orange County was on last year. They won a boatload of games in a row after Morton Carlson really got them humming. When they tended to take the lead, they never really relinquished it when they were in their full ascendancy last season. Among colliding here with Luke Biasi has led to another stoppage here, as Among might be hurt, holding his head. Again, you can just never be too careful nowadays. Well, really ever, but now that we know the information, even more so now, as we look at the last moment from the sequence.
Oof. That is painful. Long. See, instantly writhing in pain. On his way to a seated position. Biasi going in to try to win it himself, and that is a tough collision to see.
Thomas Among, formerly of San Diego Loyal, now
Fans, our next home
no longer
game
with
is
us,
Saturday,
unfortunately, in the
April
USL
6th,
Championship.
as the Riverhounds take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Again, played
Tickets
such a
can be
vital
found
role to
online
Morton
at
Carlson's turnaround
riverhounds.com/tickets.
last season.
And you can call 412-865-GOAL to get your tickets today.
He has to get back in position. Luckily, he's okay, it appears. Final 10 minutes, plus stoppage time to go. Orange County are in good position here. Oh, his yellow card has come out here. And it's because Biasi's involvement, I guess, in the challenge has led Matt Thompson to booking him here.
I don't agree with that decision. I don't think there was any malice in that.
Looks like two guys going for the ball. As it falls, ball is flared into the penalty area and out for a goal kick. And Pittsburgh doesn't have time to waste. Blackstock has time and space here. Forbes out to the far side for Griffin. And Mertz was the target. They can't quite connect.
Hounds fans, we like to thank Piata Italian Street Food for helping fuel
Here's the
team.
confirmation of the
Piata
Biasi
Italian Street Food is
booking.
an official post-game meal partner. And you can visit them
At the moment, Pittsburgh are staring. 2 losses from 2 in the face at the start of this campaign. Morton Carlson told us that they were going to have to deal with those kind of moments, the waves that Pittsburgh were going to throw at them. At times, it was a bit rocky, but when you don't concede, it gives a team more belief, and Orange County have used that to double their advantage. And Pittsburgh only have 8 minutes to save themselves a result. 2 goals for Orange County, just a 0.49 expected goals. Blackstock into the middle. It nearly found Forbes, it looked like, or maybe Kizza. Hogan recycles for Griffin. Forbes with a reverse ball into the path of Johnson, whose touch opened the door for a chance for Chata to head it out of play, but it is another Pittsburgh corner. Taken quickly, Mertz. Ball in by Griffin, Hogan's touch, and there was a push in the back by Johnson even before it got through to Hogan. Free kick, Orange County. And Shuttler, who is taking too much time over it, is booked for time wasting. was played ahead. Orange County keep it.
There was a yellow card issued to Orange County.
Kizza.
Against the keeper, number 1, Colin
Pittsburgh trying to
Shuttler.
find a route back. Just over 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. One goal could change it if the Riverhounds can get it quickly. Forbes out wide, Mertz. Again, doesn't quite link up with Griffin, it's cut out. But then Walty is there to win it back for the Riverhounds. Blackstock. Trying to size up across. Biasi's in support. Biasi's ball in is very, very good, but it's well read by Shuttler, who is right on the spot to grasp it. He may have taken a piece of Robbie Mertz along the way.
Mertz was not far away from getting to this. That is just a couple inches too high. Mertz had cut across the face of Shuttler. That's a little bit lower. Robbie Mertz is putting that into an empty net.
Shuttler sends it ahead. Biasi helped out after winning the initial header. Kasipli for Sorto. Now Lamb is forced all the way back to Shuttler with 4 minutes of the 90 left. Can Pittsburgh give themselves a chance here to get back into it? Griffin out wide. Biasi. Blackstock. Forbes. In the end, too firm of a cross. Looking for Griffin. Johnson in the area as well. And Shuttler will reset for Orange County, who are inching closer to their first victory of the season.
Vince, tonight's home opener is officially a sellout. Tonight's official attendance, 5,125. Thank you to each and every one of you for your support of the Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
It's a lovely turn-up field by Dogman, who set up the first goal for Orange County. And then Cameron Dunbar, the Cali native from Carson. As Orange County up by a pair. Final 2 minutes of the normal time at Highmark. Still feels like there's enough time for Pittsburgh if they can get a goal before stoppage time. Or Orange County gonna see this out. Blackstock. And again, 2 on him. Biasi It's away from Sordo, crossing it in, headed away before it could be attacked by Mertz. Hogan. Forbes. Forbes' cross ricochets. Hogan slides in, but it's an Orange County throw. And here come a couple of changes here for Pittsburgh. Gonna see Nate Dragicic come in. Osumanu coming off. And Sean Suber coming on as well. Walty coming off.
Job done for those two. Run the race, and Walty had his moments where he was on the ball. We saw at halftime how it was essentially a 3-1 in possession for the Riverhounds. Walty was a key component to that. Osman, he was here and there, maybe not as consistent and persistent as he would have preferred, but he had his moments where he was influential.
Two last rolls of the dice for Bob Lilly. Dragicic wins the ball right back for Pittsburgh. 5 added minutes still to go, but Pittsburgh have to get 2 goals. Dragicic, a Duquesne University product. Can he come on and maybe spark the Riverhounds back to life here? Is it just gonna be too little too late here? Forbes out wide. You know the Hounds are going to keep on coming. Great ball in for Blackstock, and Shuttler shuts the door again on the Hounds. Another brilliant save to add to his tally.
Wonderful positioning from Colin Shuttler. Times this right, moves his feet, gets across goal, confidently pushes it away.
From the ensuing corner, comes out for Griffin. Forbes. Biasi. Griffin to Forbes. Forbes does well, keeps it alive. Griffin couldn't get a touch on it. Biasi gets it back from Sorto, help from Griffin. Pittsburgh keeps on looking for a glimmer of hope. Mertz flicked on and headed over the top in the end by Sean Suber, the substitute.
It is just one of those nights. If you're a Riverhounds fan, nothing is going their way, and to Orange County's credit, they're not giving anything away. Riverhounds have done a really good job of continuing to apply pressure, but Orange County has adopted the bend, don't break method, and they've held true to it, and they are minutes away from an unpredicted result for many around the league, one that will certainly turn some heads. Having played against Sacramento Republic and the Riverhounds, they are mere minutes away from grabbing 4 out of 6 points on the road to start the season off against 2 of the best teams from last year in USL Championship.
Dragicic headed centrally, Shuttler spills, but it's cleared off the line. Hogan keeps it alive. I think Miles may have just saved Orange County there after Shuttler didn't quite get that right. Another ball flared in, headed away, this time out of the penalty area. Pittsburgh doing everything they can to throw the kitchen sink at Orange County now. They might run out of time. Another Orange County defensive stand. 2 minutes left. Kizza sees it go off of him, I think, last. Looks like Orange County will make another substitution here. Sufyan Zefal will exit after another strong shift from him. Benjamin Arjolo is going to come on and take his place. the final minute and a half, and substitutions might add a little bit extra on there. We will see. After the 5 are up, it's at Matthew Thompson's discretion in the middle of the park. He just had a little peek at his watch. Throw in for the Hounds. Final minute of the minimum of 5 added on. Orange County trying to close out their 6th ever win over Pittsburgh in 9 attempts. Kizza can't quite get to it. More good Orange County last-ditch defending. Blackstock fluttering one out for Mertz. Mertz's cross is blocked out for a throw. Mertz into the middle, flicked on, and then it's headed wide by the substitute Dragicic, who maybe just didn't have enough time to anticipate it.
It's just a microcosm of the evening for the Riverhounds, and presumably what may be one of the last touches of the match is a header that catches a player off guard inside the 6-yard box and can't guide it on target. Sums up the evening pretty much for the Riverhounds.
Is there time for maybe one more attack? Dragicic, Blackstock. It's up to Matthew Thompson how much longer we play. Griffin, it falls for Canardo Forbes, who's gonna let one fly. And it soars out of play. And that is full time. An outstanding Orange County result here at Highmark. Morten Carlson's boys come to Pittsburgh and they leave with all 3 points. They win it by 2-0. Brian Alaski in the 3rd minute. The substitute Cameron Dunbar in the 76th. And it is 4 points out of 6 after Orange County lived to tell the tale in Sacramento and leave with the spoils in Pittsburgh. Our man of the match is presented by Modelo. In a losing effort, Robbie Mertz was phenomenal at times for Pittsburgh, but in the end, the Riverhounds, after throwing everything they could at Orange County, just didn't have enough cutting edge to finish off their chances, and in the end, that's what lets them down here at Highmark tonight.
Yeah, an uncharacteristic loss for the Riverhounds. You saw the dejected look on Bob Lilly's face, his coaching staff, John Bush, the goalkeeping coach for the Riverhounds. Not used to losing here at Highmark to kick off the celebration of their 25 years. That is a disappointing loss for the Riverhounds, but for Orange County, it's all smiles on the long journey back home. 4 points out of 6 after 2 games on the road. A wonderful start for Morten Carlson's side.
Pittsburgh lost 1 home regular season game all last season. They lose tonight to Orange County. We'll take a break and we'll wrap it all up next.
Have you seen the new double-sided scratch-off from the Pennsylvania Lottery? It's $1 Million Multiplier Madness. And it comes with a bonus game on the back for even more chances to win. It's like having a piece of cake for dessert, and then having another piece of cake. Because after all, who doesn't like more of a good thing?
Scratch it, flip it, and keep on scratching.
At AHN, good heart care starts before you're just not feeling right. Before you say, it'll go away on its own. Before it doesn't. Because before an emergency, there's time to stop heart problems with a simple preventative heart check. At AHN, we see you.
Individual style, a recognizable voice.
Good afternoon.
A fresh perspective. When there's only one you, others can only imitate. Introducing the one and only 100% electric BMW i5. BMW, the ultimate electric driving machine. Hurry in to lease the 2024 BMW i5 eDrive 40 for $699 per month.
Sean St. Jacques, Jamie Watson, our entire crew back to wrap things up here at Highmark Stadium. An impressive win for Orange County. They beat Pittsburgh by 2-0, and they take 4 points out of a possible 6 after 2 of the tougher road trips you'll see in the USL Championship. Full-time highlights look like this. We begin in the 3rd minute. Brian Olofsky, what seemed like ages ago in this game, opened the scoring after some brilliant build-up from Ryan Dogman.
Olofsky takes a chance to get to the back post. He wins the race with Etu, who doesn't do a good enough job of making sure to seal off the back post. Olofsky comes and gets a dream start for the visitors. And then from there, the Riverhounds started to get back into this match. Shuttler forced into a really good save. Strong left hand to push it away. And then just before half, after this save, Robbie Mertz had a wonderful effort. He struck across the face of it, hit the crossbar. We went into the half 1-0.
From there, it was more Pittsburgh attacks. It got physical at times, but then Orange County rode the wave and got a second through Dunbar.
The 3 subs Carlson made at the 60th minute mark, they combined to make it 2-0, and from there, Orange County see it out. A very resilient defensive effort and a very deserved 3 points for the visitors.
Super impressive, and it's even more impressive when you look at the full-time match stats. But one thing that tells the big story here, 13 shots for Pittsburgh, only 2 on target. Orange County did enough defensively to see this out, and they took their big opportunities, Jamie.
Yeah, the Riverhounds wasteful in front of goal with their opportunities. They created the chances, but it was always lacking that final ball, that final finishing touch. And ultimately, to say 2 shots on target out of 13 efforts, it's just simply not good enough by the Riverhounds standards. They'll need to go back to the drawing board in order to right this wrong. They don't lose very often at Highmark Stadium. Once all year, last year, like you alluded to, they've lost 1 out of 1 to start the 24 season off.
And we will see how they bounce back, because they have a very difficult schedule up ahead, just like Orange County does. A tremendous night at Highmark, especially for Orange County. And before we leave you as well, a tip of the cap to our producer, Jonathan Solano. His first time tonight. He did a tremendous job along with our entire crew. For Jamie Watson and the rest of our crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. We say so long from the Steel City. An impressive victory for Orange County. They win it by 2-0 at Highmark.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.